Hi there, this is Katie for Little Angel Theatre, and today I'm going to teach you a craft to go with the story of the Gingerbread Man. Like this, who can run as fast as he can. You can't catch me, I'm the Gingerbread Man. This craft is aimed at 5 to 10-year-olds, but there are a few bits you might want to get a grown-up to help you with, such as cutting out these little holes here and maybe a little bit of the stitching. It's quite a lot of different pieces to add to this little chap to make him look extra fun. So do ask for help if you need it. Now I have used some card from my recycling bin, but you could use a cereal box. You could use any card that you have, just some plain white card. Check with grown-ups what is going spare in your recycling. You will also need a shape to draw around. So I've actually got a Gingerbread Man cookie cutter for when I make gingerbread men at Christmas time. If you haven't got one of these to draw around though, don't panic. You could just draw one freehand. If you feel like you're confident enough to do that, that's absolutely fine. Or you could print out a template from the computer to cut out and draw around if you're worried about getting that gingerbread man shape. You'll also need a pencil for drawing your gingerbread man onto your card, and I've got a colouring pencil here that I used just to make a few marks on my felt. Because it's quite dark, yellow shows up nicely on there. If you've got a lighter colour fabric or you're just colouring it in, just use a colour that shows up nice and bright. I've used dark brown felt, as that is something I just had in my craft box. You could use any colour, it doesn't have to be brown. I've just got this one, but you could actually just, if you're using cardboard for the structure of your gingerbread man, you could just colour it in with felt tip pens or colouring pencils or whatever you've got to hand. I've also got extra things on here to make him exciting. I've got googly eyes, love googly eyes. I've also got some little pom-poms to make his gumdrop buttons. You could use buttons, you could use scrunched up bits of foil, you could use sweetie wrappers. Again, be creative, anything you've got to hand in your house at the moment that could make some colourful decorations. I've also got a little bit of rick-rack ribbon to give him sort of icing on his hands, and I've used some thread as well. I've used pink and white to give him some stitched details. You'll also need a glue stick and some scissors. So to start your gingerbread man, take your cookie cutter or template or whatever it is you're using to get your shape. Lay it down on your piece of card, whatever that might be. With a pencil, draw around your template or your cookie cutter to get your gingerbread man. Now for our design, we don't need to give him legs. So with this design, your fingers become the gingerbread man's little running legs. So on mine, I have drawn around down to his sort of hips, and then I've just rounded it off and not drawn the legs. To cut the holes of your gingerbread man, I have just drawn 2 rough circles at the bottom of his hips. Make sure you leave enough of a gap between the edge of the cardboard and between the 2 circles so that you don't rip the card. So you've got 2 little circles. Once you're happy with your gingerbread man shape on your card, get your scissors and cut it out. This is where you might need to get a grown-up to help you. Just get the pointy bit of one of the blades of the scissors and gently push a hole into the material, and then carefully cut around the circles that you've drawn. Great, so once you've got your cardboard gingerbread man shape, you need to pop glue on one side. On mine, I've put the glue on the side that the biscuit design is on and stuck it to my felt. Once your cardboard shape is stuck to your material, you need to cut it out. But important tip, when you're cutting it out, make sure you leave about ½ centimetre around the edge of your shape. This will become apparent why we've done this later on, but make sure you leave a little bit of an overhang of your material when you cut around your gingerbread man. When you come to cut the circles through the material, very carefully, just as we did with the cardboard, cut with the pointy bit of one of the blades, just push it through gently to make a hole, and just as we did before with the cardboard, carefully cut around the circle until you've got 2 neat holes cut through the card and the fabric. And you can test at this point how your fingers look through it. So push your 2 fingers, your index and your middle finger through, and just give them a wiggle and just test that you can get your fingers in and out without being too squished, and see what your puppet looks like when he's running. I've also got my googly eyes, which I'm going to just pop some glue onto where I want them and gently press them onto the felt. For decorations, I've got my pom-poms to make some buttons. Whatever you're using, just use an ordinary Pritt stick, pop the glue on and arrange your pieces how you'd like. Now I've just gone for some colourful buttons down the front. You might want to give him a bow tie. This is when we need that little bit extra material that we left when we cut our shape out earlier. This gives us a perfect guide to follow as we stitch around our gingerbread man. I've just used a normal running stitch around mine to give him little dashes of icing to give him an outline. But if you want to be fancier, you could use other stitches. This is where you can use your imagination, use your sewing skills, and do something pretty around the edge of your gingerbread man. Now he's really starting to come together now. Lightly draw the smile onto the felt just as a guide, so it's nice and easy to follow with our stitching. I'm going to give my gingerbread man a nice big pink icing smile. You could do a sad one if you wanted, or you could do one pulling a funny face. That's up to you. I'm going to go for a classic smile. So now I'm going to just sew with my needle through the card and through the felt. Now it's quite a big needle that I'm using. It makes it a lot easier, less fiddly, and it goes through both materials really well. Get an adult to help you with this bit, as needles are very sharp and it can be tricky sewing through cardboard, but give it a go and see what you come up with. Now again, I'm just using a back stitch to make my smile. And for a final touch, I just happen to have some of this nice silver rickrack, which is ribbon that's sort of got a lovely wibbly wobbly nature to it, which looks a bit like icing. So I've just used a tiny snippet of that and stuck it with a Pritt stick to each arm. You could use tissue paper, ordinary cartridge paper, you could use other scraps of fabric if you've got them, so other coloured felt, cut some nice shapes. You could do some wibbly icing lines, you could do other shapes, you could do hearts. Stick whatever you like to your gingerbread man. Think, how would you like a gingerbread man that you might have at Christmas to look, and add any decorations you can. He could even have a hat. That might be quite nice. So once you're happy with all of the decorations that you have stuck to your gingerbread man, you can put your fingers through the little holes that you've made, and now he is ready to reenact the story of the gingerbread man. Maybe you can make some other characters in a similar style so that you can act out the story as it's read to you, or you could perform it at home for yourself or your family. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed making your own little gingerbread man running puppet. I certainly have. Please share with us your puppet creations and look at all of the other craft videos that we have coming to you to keep yourselves and your families busy and entertained whilst we're all at home. Stay safe everybody, and enjoy making your lovely creations. Thank you. Bye.